A poor secretary rented a boyfriend for $500, unaware he was a secret millionaire CEO who changed her life. But before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from today. And if this story moves you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more powerful stories just like this one. Before this story begins, tell me in the comments, have you ever been completely underestimated because of how you look? Maya Breyer, 28, walked out of her office bathroom with tears still clinging to her lashes. She wasn't crying over the broken copier or the fact that her boss, Mr. Whitman, had just called her Melissa for the 10th time that month. She was crying because she had just gotten another wedding invitation from her ex and it included a +1, and she had no one, no date, no family in town, no confidence left to show her face among the high society crowd who once whispered that she was just the secretary. Maya had worked at Norwood Holdings for 5 years, filed their papers, scheduled their meetings, smiled politely at every intern who got promoted before her. Quiet, invisible, efficient. But today, she cracked, "I won't walk in alone again," she whispered to herself, pacing her tiny apartment that night. Not this time. Her best friend Lena offered to go as a wing woman. "No offense," Maya said, "but you're married and 7 months pregnant." Lena sipped her tea. "Then rent someone." "Seriously?" Maya laughed. "What? Like rent a date?" "Exactly like that. Pick someone handsome, classy. Pay him for a night. Walk in like you're living your best rom-com." Maya stared at her laptop for hours. There were dozens of sites, dozens of profiles, but one caught her eye. Jake, tall, calm, respectful, former military. "I don't ask questions, just play the role." Fee, $500. Availability, Saturday night. Desperate and trembling, Maya booked him. Saturday arrived too fast. She wore a simple burgundy dress, the same one she wore the night her ex broke up with her. She wasn't trying to make a statement, she just didn't own anything bold. Until the doorbell rang, and standing outside was a man in a tailored black suit. Tall, broad-shouldered, clean-shaven. His eyes were the color of overcast sky, unreadable. "You must be Maya," he said softly. "I'm Jake," she nodded. Speechless, they got into the Uber. "You don't have to talk," she said, embarrassed. He smiled. "We can just wing it." When they arrived at the wedding venue, a lavish rooftop garden in the heart of the city, Maya suddenly panicked. "I changed my mind," she whispered. This was stupid. Jake leaned in, voice low. "Hold my hand, we walk in together. No one will doubt a thing." And they did. Within 5 minutes, people stared. The woman they once mocked for being just a secretary had just entered with a man who looked like he walked off the cover of Forbes. But Maya didn't notice, because her ex was already walking toward her. Trevor, her ex, looked stunned. "Maya," he said, "you look great." "Thanks," Maya replied. "This is Jake, my boyfriend." Jake reached out and shook Trevor's hand firmly. "Pleasure," Trevor stammered. "How long have you two been?" "8 months," Jake answered. "Cool as ice. Met on a train to Chicago. She spilled coffee on my shirt. Best accident of my life." Maya blinked. She hadn't even told him what story to use. Guests buzzed. Whispers spread by the reception. Jake had people laughing. Maya's cheeks ached from smiling. For once, she was the woman being admired. They danced, talked, laughed. She leaned in at one point and whispered, "You're really good at this." Jake glanced at her, serious. "I'm not acting." Then came the toast. Trevor clinked his glass. "To love, especially the kind that finds you when you least expect it." His didn't notice, but his eyes lingered on Maya. Afterward, Jake led Maya to a quiet corner of the terrace. "You want the truth?" he said. She looked up, nervous. "I'm not a rent-a-date," he said softly. "Well, I am, but not professionally." "I don't understand." Jake sighed. "I'm not on that site anymore. I used to volunteer for social experiments, mostly to help shy people feel less alone. Then I got an alert someone booked me. I almost cancelled." She blinked. "So why didn't you?" He looked at her, eyes gentle. "Because when I saw your message, something felt different." Maya's heart pounded. "But who are you really?" He hesitated. "Let's just say, I've sat in rooms bigger than this rooftop, and I'm used to people wanting things from me." She narrowed her eyes. "Jake, are you rich?" He smiled. "Let's just enjoy tonight." "What would you have done in this exact situation? Would you keep dancing or demand answers right then and there? Comment your answer before we reveal what happened next." At the end of the night, Jake walked her to her door. "Did I do okay?" she asked, suddenly shy again. He chuckled. "You were the queen of that place." She looked at him. "So what now?" Jake reached into his pocket and pulled out her envelope, the one with the $500 cash. "I'm not taking this." "But that was the deal," she said. "I didn't come for the money, Maya," he said. "I came for you." Then he kissed her hand, gentle, old school, and walked away. She didn't sleep that night. The next morning she got to work early. Same desk, same coffee, same ignored emails, until an email popped up with the subject line, "Maya Breyer, promotion approval." She blinked, opened it. It read, "Effective immediately. You are being transferred to the executive floor as senior operations coordinator. Salary increase, 35%. New supervisor, Mr. Jacob Renner." Maya gasped. She Googled the name. Jake Renner, founder of Renner Holdings, net worth $480 million. She stumbled out of her chair and raced to the elevator. When the doors opened on the executive floor, there he was, Jake, in a navy blue suit, standing behind a polished glass desk. "Morning," he said with a grin. "Told you I've sat in bigger rooms." "You're the CEO," she whispered. "Technically, founder and chairman. I sold the company a few years ago, but still oversee key departments, including hiring." "Why?" she asked, shaking. "Why do all this?" He walked up to her. "Because I've watched you for months, Maya. How you treat everyone. How you eat lunch with the janitors. How you thank the delivery guys. You're the only one on this floor who remembers people's birthdays. I didn't want to date a secretary." He paused. "I wanted to date you." Tears welled in her eyes. He smiled. "Besides, your ex looked like he needed a lesson in what he lost." The restaurant rooftop was nearly empty, save for twinkling lights, soft jazz, and the hum of a city pretending not to listen. Isla sat across from Theo, her rented boyfriend, trying to steady her breathing. He wasn't acting like a hired stranger anymore. He was leaning in, asking about her dreams, like they mattered. And he listened, not like someone waiting to talk, but like someone gathering pieces. "You ever think about just walking away from all of it?" she asked quietly. "The corporate chaos, the humiliation, the late nights where you cry into reheated noodles." Theo's eyes softened. "I did once," he said. "But then I met someone who reminded me that starting over isn't giving up, it's just building smarter." Isla blinked. He was so convincing. Too convincing. Then came the turning point. Theo reached into his jacket and pulled out a box. Inside, nestled in velvet, was a delicate bracelet lined with opals, her birth. "I know this wasn't part of the deal," he said softly, "but you deserve something real tonight." Before Isla could respond, her boss walked out onto the rooftop. Mr. Crane, arrogant, entitled, and drunk. He stopped cold when he saw them. "Isla's less that you." With him, Theo turned slightly composed. Mr. Crane stumbled closer. "I thought you were too broke for rooftop dinners." "Who is this guy?" Theo stood, tall and calm. "I'm her date," Crane laughed. "Date? Did she pay you too?" Theo's jaw tightened. Isla's cheeks flushed. Before she could defend herself, Theo stepped forward. "I'd be careful what you say," he said coolly. "I don't take kindly to people who humiliate women who work harder than you ever will." Crane blinked, confused by Theo's sudden shift in tone. His voice had changed, sharper, powerful. "Who are you?" he mumbled. Theo smiled but didn't answer. "What would you have done in this exact situation? Comment your answer before we reveal what happened next." The next morning, Isla returned to work expecting everything to collapse. Her inbox was flooded with subject lines like, "Nice show last night. Hope he was worth your job. HR wants to speak." She took a deep breath and walked into the break room to cry in peace, but she wasn't alone. Theo was there, leaning casually against the vending machine with 2 cups of coffee. "What are you doing here?" she whispered. He handed her a cup. "Waiting for you." "I can't talk right now," she said. "I might get fired, and I don't even regret it." He tilted his head. "Why would you get fired?" "Because you embarrassed the VP in front of everyone, and he knows I hired you." Theo chuckled softly, then handed her an envelope. Inside was a letter of resignation from Mr. Crane, along with a printout of several shady invoices and internal complaints against him. "What is this?" she asked, breath caught. "Proof," Theo said. "He's been exploiting junior staff for years. I had a friend in compliance pull some records." She stared at him. "Who are you?" Theo took a deep breath and finally answered. "I'm the new majority stakeholder of this company." Silence. "I bought out the parent firm last quarter under a holding company. I've been reviewing all departments for integrity before we restructure." She dropped the coffee. You're your fake boyfriend," he finished gently, "who hoped you'd say yes, for real." Isla didn't know whether to slap him or kiss him. "You lied," she said. "I hid," he corrected, "because I needed to see the truth without filters." "And what do you see now?" she asked, heart pounding. He smiled. "A woman who deserves more than flowers and fake titles." But before anything else could be said, the door burst open. HR, legal security. Apparently Mr. Crane hadn't gone quietly. He'd leaked private HR documents to the press, painting Isla as a manipulative secretary seducing executives to climb the ladder. Theo's face darkened, but Isla stepped forward. "Let them talk," she said. "I've been through worse." Theo turned to HR. "She's not under investigation. She's under promotion." He handed them a signed document. "Effective immediately. Isla Monroe will serve as Executive Director of Employee Advocacy." Gasps. The HR manager stammered. You can't just—" "I own this place," Theo replied. "And she's the only one who's shown integrity at every turn." As security escorted the last of the drama out the building, Isla turned to Theo. "Why me?" He paused. "Because you never asked for anything, but still gave your best." She blinked, trying not to cry. "I only had $500 when we met." He took her hand. "You had more than money. You had courage." The office had quieted after the chaos. Isla stood alone by the floor-to-ceiling window in her new office, still trying to process everything. Just days ago, she was invisible. A background character in her own life. Isla now, She had an office with her name on the door, but her heart wasn't celebrating. Not yet, because Theo, if that was even his real name, had disappeared. He hadn't answered her texts. His office line went straight to voicemail, and his private calendar was suddenly cleared out. Then came the email. Subject: before you hear it from someone else. From Thaddeus Vale. Thaddeus Vale. The name echoed in her head. She remembered it now, from a Forbes list, months ago. The invisible investor. Billionaire. Airtech magnate. One of the youngest CEOs in New York. Known for making brutal buyouts and disappearing just as fast. She clicked the attachment. It was a letter. Honest, vulnerable. Isla, I never meant to lie. My real name is Thaddeus Vale. I used Theo because I wanted to know how people treat others without the armor of wealth. You treated me with more kindness and trust than anyone ever has, and I couldn't bring myself to ruin that. But I've made enemies, Isla, real ones. People who want control of this company and will stop at nothing to discredit me, or worse. I need to disappear, for your protection. But if you'll have me when this is over, I'll find my way back to you. That's a promise, Theo. Always Theo, with you. She stared at the screen. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, but she didn't respond. Not yet, because her phone had just lit up again, with a call from a blocked number. And when she answered, the voice said, "If you care about Thaddeus Vale, you'll walk away now." The next day, everything exploded. A tabloid ran the headline. Secretary turned executive accused of trading favors for power inside the $500 secret. Isla's face was splashed across every major news site. The article twisted the truth, painting her relationship with Theo as a scandal. It referenced a transactional relationship and suspicious promotions. She walked into work and felt the shift immediately. The whispers, the stares, even the interns avoided eye contact. On her desk sat a thick envelope with a single note on top. "You have 24 hours to resign or we go public with the rest." The board, but Isla wasn't scared. She was furious. She didn't have Theo's money or his power, but she had something just as dangerous. Receipts. She pulled out her backup drive. Every message, every invoice, every recorded conversation from Mr. Crane's harassment cases. She had kept it all, not to blackmail but to protect herself. And now, it was her armor. She drafted a public letter and uploaded everything to a secure site. Then, she pressed record. "If you're going to accuse me of sleeping my way to the top, you better include the part where I worked weekends, buried every mistake your VPs made, and took a $500 risk to protect my peace. I wasn't bought, I was brave. And as for my relationship with Thaddeus Vale, he never offered me a promotion, but he gave me something no one else in this company ever did. Respect." She hit publish. Within an hour, the story flipped. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag stand with the solar. Hashtag Secretariatodio. Hashtag truth of a power. And by the end of the day, several board members were facing public scrutiny for past cover-ups. Isla had gone from a target to a whistleblower. But even with the world watching, one question still haunted her. Where was Theo? It wasn't until 3 days later that she found him. In the last place she expected, the server room, deep in the basement of the building, behind a door labeled maintenance only. She found him crouched over a rack of exposed hardware, sweating and furious. "What are you doing down here?" she asked, stunned. He looked up. His beard was growing and his blazer had been replaced by a hoodie. "You weren't supposed to find me," he said. "Someone threatened me. Then they tried to destroy me. You disappeared," she whispered, voice trembling. "Why?" He stood slowly. "Because the real takeover wasn't corporate," he said. "It was internal. There's a mole on the board trying to sell our company's data to a competitor overseas. I came down here to trace the breach myself." Isla stepped forward, heart racing. "Why not tell me?" He looked at her, eyes tired but full of something real. "Because I knew if they saw us together again, they'd use it against you." She didn't say anything for a moment. Then she walked right up to him and kissed him. Right there, in the flickering light of old servers and recycled air. "You don't get to protect me from the shadows anymore," she said. "Not when I've already chosen you." Theo exhaled a shaky breath and handed her a small black flash drive. "This is everything," he said. "Proof of who's behind it. Take it to the press. Expose them. I'll take the fall if I have to." Isla took the drive, but she didn't head for the press. She headed for the boardroom, where she would face every one of them alone. The elevator doors slid open on the 43rd floor. Isla stepped out, heels sharp against the marble, flash drive clutched in her palm like a dagger. She'd walked this hallway 1,000 times, but never like this. This time, she wasn't just the secretary. She was the storm they didn't see coming. Inside the boardroom, the atmosphere was electric, tight-lipped executives, icy water glasses, and the ever-present chairman, Mr. Barrows, who looked like he'd aged 10 years overnight. "You're not scheduled for this meeting, Miss Rowe," he said dryly. Isla didn't flinch. "I believe the agenda just changed." Before anyone could object, she placed her laptop on the table, connected the drive, and clicked play. Security footage appeared on the screen, grainy but clear. Board member Gregory Crane, the same man who'd once belittled her in the copy room, was caught in a whispered conversation with a rival firm's executive. The audio was muffled, but the intent was unmistakable. Once the files are copied, I'll ensure the CEO steps down. You wire the rest by Friday. Gasps filled the room. Isla turned to the others. There's more. Transaction logs, IP traces, internal emails, some of which were blind copied to people in this room. She paused the footage, and then she asked calmly, "How long were you going to let them sell our company out from under us?" Dead silence. Then, one voice spoke. The CFO. "Is this legit?" Mr. Barrows, pale and sweating, struggled to speak. "I didn't know how far it had gone." Isla looked at him with quiet fire. "You knew enough, and you did nothing." And just like that, she pulled out her phone and went live. "To the employees of Vailcorp," she said, voice steady, "you deserve to know what's been happening behind closed doors. You've given your loyalty, your labor, your late nights and early mornings, and some of the people you trusted were planning to take everything within minutes." The stream was flooded with hearts, fire emojis, and messages of support. "She's telling the truth. About time someone exposed them. I work here. I've seen the red flags." It wasn't a press conference. It was a revolution. By noon, the live stream had gone viral. News anchors picked it up. Former employees sent in testimonies. Whistleblowers came forward from satellite offices. The board was cornered. That afternoon, the shareholders demanded an emergency vote. And it wasn't close. The result? 89% in favor of removing all complicit board members. But there was one more surprise. A second vote had been proposed by none other than the legal team. Motion to appoint Isla Rowe as interim CEO until a permanent leadership review can be conducted. Gasps. She hadn't asked for this, hadn't campaigned. She just did what no one else had the courage to do. The vote passed. Tears welled up in Isla's eyes as her name appeared on the official record. She wasn't dreaming. She was now the acting CEO of the company where she once fetched coffee. As the room emptied, Theo stepped inside, cautiously. "I saw everything," he said softly. "You didn't just save the company, you gave them hope." Isla turned to face him. "You disappeared on me. I thought I was protecting you." She exhaled. "You were wrong. We protect each other." Theo nodded slowly. "I came back because I couldn't stay away. Not from you. Not from what you're building." He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a worn $500 receipt. "The money I never took. I kept it because I knew, from the first moment you asked me for help, you weren't asking to be saved. You were giving me a chance to become someone better." And then, he slid something else across the table. A signed transfer form. It read, 50% equity share in Vailcorp to Isla Rowe. Her breath caught. "This company started because of you," he said. "Now, it grows because of what you believe in. I want to build it with you. As equals," she smiled. "We'll write the next chapter together." 6 months later, Vailcorp was unrecognizable. Gone were the toxic hierarchies, the closed-door policies, the silent power plays. In their place, mentorship programs, equal pay audits, and an anonymous hotline that actually worked. And at the very top, a new nameplate on the corner office read, Isla Rowe, Chief Executive Officer. But she hadn't changed. She still brought snacks for the night shift, still held open doors for the janitors, still remembered the receptionist's birthday. Her story became a case study at Harvard. Her speech at the Women in Tech Summit trended on YouTube. Success isn't about who you know. It's about what you do when no one believes in you. It's about showing up for yourself loudly, unapologetically, and with receipts. And Theo, he became her partner in business and life. They didn't rush anything, but on their 1-year anniversary he took her to the same restaurant where their fake date had begun. Same table, same server, only this time he got down on one knee and pulled out a simple gold ring. "I was hired to play a role," he said, "but I fell for the woman who taught me how to live unscripted." Isla's laugh caught in her throat, and her answer wasn't a word, it was a kiss, right there in front of the whole restaurant. This time no one looked down on her. They applauded, and somewhere, in a back corner booth, a woman in cleaning scrubs raised her glass and smiled quietly to herself, because she knew everything had come full circle. Before you go, have you ever been underestimated based on how you looked? Tell us in the comments. When has kindness changed your life or someone else's? And what would you have done if you were Isla? Comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that prove underdogs always have the last word.